Good morning and welcome to our first cuppa and chat. Usually at this time we would be down in Shell Cafe in Bridge Street enjoying a cup of coffee and a little bit of chat together. And I thought maybe on a Monday morning it would be good to keep that going. So I have my cup of tea with me, which I'm sure I'll sip throughout this little podcast. And I hope that maybe you've grabbed yours too and that we can sit and have that time together. Just pondering how we're doing, asking those questions that we need to ask of ourselves. The question I was thinking about this morning is, what's the one thing that you've had to give up, that you miss the most? For most of us, it'll be something different. For me, maybe the thing I've had to give up most is my space. Living in a house, and up until just yesterday, there were 5 of us in the house, where usually David and I are here on our own throughout the day. And that space, that time can be difficult to lose. You always seem to have to be with other people. Not that I don't love my family, of course I do, but I enjoy my own space. Maybe for you, it's the freedom to walk down into Cumber, to do your weekly or bi-weekly walk around the town, going to the farmers market, stopping and chatting to the people that you have grown up with and been with and seen week after week for generations. Perhaps it's actually the building in Bridge Street that you miss the most. Maybe it's the fact that you can't come together as church and be church as a collective people. Or maybe you're one of the sporty types. Maybe you're the one that goes to the gym every week and that's your escape, that's your time away. Or your workspace and your colleagues who are there. In these unprecedented days, we have all had to give up something. We've also had to take up some things. Extra hand washing, social distancing. I think back, and it seems a long time ago now, but just over a week ago, the weekend of Mother's Day, on the Saturday I was down in Cumber, and I noticed for the very first time, outside a barber shop in Bridge Street, that there were 3 young boys standing a number of feet apart in a queue along the street because they weren't allowed into the barber shop together. It was the first I had witnessed what has now become normal. I tried to go to Tesco's on Saturday morning this week to get a few things for myself and my mum. And when I arrived at the car park, I noticed that the queue was out the door, down the side of the building, across the bottom of the car park, and up the side of Matlin's. Everybody standing a couple of feet apart. Social distancing is difficult. It's difficult in the community and it's difficult in family. Perhaps you're watching this morning and you have had to be in isolation, away from loved ones and family, and that's the thing that you are missing the most. Maybe you're living on your own now and seeing very, very few people, and loneliness is difficult. As I was thinking of the things that we have to give up, and as Jonathan said yesterday as he led us in worship on our church video, he said that one of the problems is that we don't know how long this is going to last for. As we listen to the news over the weekend, they're talking 3 months, 6 months. The date and time is unknown. And for us, giving up and taking up those things can seem like a very long time. And as I was reflecting, I thought of Jesus himself. Because we got to remember that Jesus gave up so much. As he came from heaven, as that little baby, down to earth, he gave up so much for us. He left heaven's glory. He left the Father's side. He entered into our time and space. Never before had Jesus been controlled by time. As we read in scriptures, a day is like 1,000 years and 1,000 years is like a day. But Jesus gave up all of that for us. And he didn't have to just do it for 3 months or 6 months. He had to do it for over 30 years. Over 30 years of being out of heaven. Over 30 years of a distance from his norm. Over 30 years of living a very different life. And why did he do it? He did it because of you, and he did it because of me. And it's maybe in days like we're living in now that we can start to truly appreciate for the first time what that was like. Those times when you can't wrap your arms around your grandchildren and give them that hug that you would really want to. Those times where you automatically just go out and do something and you stop and realise, I'm living in a new normal. Jesus gave up everything and started to live a new normal for us. And it didn't end by just leaving all that heaven held. No, when he came to earth, he then gave up so much more. I was encouraged the other night when we heard of so many people outside clapping and cheering on our NHS. But we also think of those who are our truck drivers and our delivery people and those in our local shops and all those who are keeping things going. Many of them on the front line of danger, giving up their freedom, giving up possibly their health for us. And we applaud them, and rightly so. But when Jesus came to earth, he knew he was coming to give up more than that. He gave up his life for us. And as we journey towards Easter, as we start to think of those last days just before the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, we can realise that in our giving up, in our extra time on our hands, perhaps it's a time for us to stop and think and acknowledge what Jesus has done for us. He gave up everything for you. He gave up everything so that he could save you, that he could give his life so that you didn't have to give yours. So in these new normals, in the struggle and stresses of what it is, and please acknowledge that these are difficult days to live in. These are days that our children and grandchildren will talk about in history classes in years to come. They will be able to say, I remember my mum or my grandparents talking about the pandemic of 2020. These are unprecedented days, but in them we are not alone. Jesus is with us. He understands. He knows what it is to give up everything for love. We're giving up some things for the love of our community, of our country, for the world, to try and stop this virus. So as we sit and reflect together and have our cup of tea, I want you to stop and think and remember that in all of it, Jesus is still God. He is with us in the midst of us. He loves us as he always has, and he's in control as much as he ever was. And he knows the outcome. He knows when we'll get back to what was normal. He knows how we'll all get through this. He knows and understands because he gave up so much for you. Enjoy your cuppa.